y'all, I'm back. It's a great day here at the Raytown Travel Agency. May I help? May I help? May I help you? Okay. So, I got Shaylin's hair done. Got her clothes in the wash because Rayon actually washed everything but Shaylin's clothes. So, her clothes have washed. They're just waiting for me to put them in the dryer. I'll do that after I do this video, so y'all not listening to the noise. Yeah, so red velvet cake. We need 3 cups of flour. I've already sifted it out and measured it. It's 3 cups of cake flour. You need 2 cups of vegetable oil. Just regular vegetable oil. 4 eggs, room temperature. I've done blue. They're all the same, you just change the color of dye. I've done blue before. 2 cups of sugar. It says a bottle of food coloring. It's up to you. Just get it to the redness that you want. You don't have to use a whole bottle of coloring. Just get it to the color of red that you want. Teaspoon of salt, tablespoon of vinegar, cup of buttermilk, 2 tablespoons of baking soda, and vanilla flavoring, which I didn't write down. Vanilla flavoring. Oh, I didn't put the cocoa powder either. You also need 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder. Yeah. Hey, Nikki. So, oh, and then for your frosting, the frosting is a cream cheese frosting. You can use pecans or walnuts, up to you which one you like. I like pecans, so I use pecans in mine. 8 ounces of cream stick cheese to 1 stick of butter. Depending on how many layers you need, you can double, triple up the recipe, however. But the base recipe is 8 ounces of cream cheese, 1 stick of butter, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and then some crushed pecans. Depending on how nutty you want it, you choose how many pecans you're going to put in there. And that's it, y'all. So we're going to get started. Put this beater on here. Okay. With any cake, first thing you do is cream your butter and sugar together. Well, I don't have butter. Cream your oil and sugar together. So I'm going to have 2 cups of oil and then 2 cups of sugar. One cup sugar. 2 cups sugar. Hey, Queen of Crazies. One cup of oil. Two cups of oil. Thank you. Sister D Kite had this made for me. I won it in her channel last week. Came in my mail yesterday. Okay, so we're gonna let this cream together. This probably be loud, y'all, so excuse it. You just want to mix it until the sugar kind of melts into the oil. I kind of want to switch to my whisk attachment, but I'm not going to do it. So you need 4 eggs. The safe thing to do with your eggs is crack them one at a time, so you can make sure they're okay. Sometimes when I'm in a hurry, I don't do it, but you always risk getting a bad egg. Pork skin tacos. That's all it was in there, just pork skin, or it was like it had meat in there plus pork skin? Nice and fluffy. It actually looks like lemon meringue right about now. Well, not the meringue, but the lemon curd. Like taco salad, which is, oh, okay. So instead of having tortillas, she used the pork skin. Okay. a good idea for people doing keto. Yeah, I told him you were probably asleep, Mark. They asked where you were, and I said I sent you the message, but you must have been asleep. Okay, so I'm gonna turn this down because you gotta add the buttermilk. Which y'all already know. I showed y'all Thanksgiving. I make my buttermilk. I can't buy. I'm not buying a whole quart of buttermilk because I don't use it enough to need a whole quart. And that's really the only way they sell it here. You either get a quart or you get a half gallon. And I don't need that much at any time. Oh, wait. You need 1 cup of buttermilk. Y'all know I'm an eyeball cook, so I would have just poured it and told you it's a cup. There you go, 1 cup. You need a tablespoon of vinegar. And you need a teaspoon of baking soda, which has a chemical reaction. I know it bubbles up, right? That's part of the magic of the red velvet cake, is that chemical reaction. Hey, Karen. You were asleep too? They were trying to figure out where you were. I thought maybe you might have been at work. I'm going to use this Dutch cocoa. I usually use this, but this is actually expired. So we're not going to use the expired one. We'll use the Dutch. And this is where people make their mistake with red velvet cake. People think a red velvet cake is a chocolate cake that's red, and it's not. A red velvet cake is not a chocolate cake. It has a little cocoa powder in it. A little cocoa powder in it. But people try and turn it into a chocolate cake. They make a devil's food cake and then they put red dye in it. That's not it. Now 1 tablespoon of cocoa powder. Hold on, let me get my scraper. She was supposed to get Papa's pie out of the refrigerator so she could take it to him. Well, she got his pie and she took it to him, but all the pies are out of the refrigerator and just sitting over there now. She took every pie out. Alright, let's scrape this down. I would love to have my own restaurant or catering business, but you got to have money to start it. And I don't have the money to start it right now. I'm not sure where the name Velvet came from. This cake was actually created in New York by a hotel. I think they just called it red velvet because, you know, like the velvet rope is a very ritzy, elegant, fancy type thing. I think that's where it came from because it was red, like the velvet rope. All right. So now we're going to add this vinegar. And this baking soda. that? Vinegar and baking soda causes a chemical reaction. That right there is the secret ingredient to the red velvet cake. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is add flour a little bit at a time. And this again was 3 cups of cake flour. You can use all purpose. You don't have to use cake flour. Scrape my sides again. Now, as you see the color of this, it's just barely beige. It's just barely beige. Hey, Lady AK. Hey, Real Deal. Like, if it's brown, it's way past red velvet stage. It should not be brown. I need my parchment paper. And usually when I make cakes, I don't bother with parchment paper. However, with the red velvet cake. What the parchment paper does, it keeps your cake from getting round on the bottom and the sides. And so, since this cake is red, if you let it get brown on the bottom and the sides, when you slice it, you're going to see that brown layer in between that pretty white frosting. So it'll be white, a little bit of brown, red. White, a little bit of brown, red. So if you don't want that little bit of brown in there, you can go from red to white, real bright, you know, so it stands out. You use the parchment paper, you don't get that brown, you know, skin on the outside of your cake. Let me turn that off as well. It's a fly. That's not it. There it is. Put some oil in these pans. Now I still have to put the vanilla flavoring and my coloring in there. But I still want to turn it off because the longer you mix dough, the tougher it gets. So we don't want a tough cake. So we're going to pause it while I do this real quick. And my oven is already on. It's on 350. And these are these layers are going to be cut in half. We're going to split them with a layer cutter. With this thing right here, we're going to cut the layers. Doran, I like to cook anything. Whatever someone is asking me to fix, that's what my favorite thing, because I like to watch people enjoy stuff. Oh, my fingernail just broke. And it's broke up way too high. Well, this is the nail that was hurting me Thanksgiving. It was already broke, so now it's making sure I can see that it's broken. All right. it goes. There it goes. All right, so now need to put some flavoring in there. And then with our food coloring. Now this is the food coloring that doesn't have that nasty taste, that bitter twang. If you can, try and find that. All right. I'm going to turn this on. Like I said, you just add until it's the color you want. Right now it's kind of orange looking. Hey babe. So we need more. Like I said, this one doesn't have that taste. Thank you, Karen. All right. We're going to scrape. Y'all see how pretty it is? Try to get this last bit of goodness in there. Put that paper under there because this is red dye, y'all. It's gonna drip and it's gonna stain whatever it drips on. All right. That's the batter, y'all. We're gonna pour half in one, half in the other. Gonna let it bake. And then when they cool, I'm gonna split them in half. So we're gonna go from 2 layers to 4 layers. Unlike my granny, I try to get everything out of this bowl. My granny was not the granny that you was hoping to lick the bowl after, because she ain't leave nothing in that bowl. If she thought about it, she'd give you the beater, though. She'd give you the beater if she thought about it. But that bowl, when Shaylin's hovering around, I'll try to remember to leave, to leave her something in the bowl. But like right now, both of them are over at Papa's, so. Get as much of this out anyway as we can. Anyway, especially because it's red. It's going to take more than a couple rinses. It's going to take a few rinses just to not have your water red when you're trying to wash. All right. I got as much as I'm going to get. I need a flexible scraper to get more. Tapping your pans gets air bubbles out. All right, I'm gonna go put this in the oven, y'all. And then I'm gonna wash this off, and then I'm gonna show you how to make the frosting. Okay. We got another bowl, y'all. I was not gonna make y'all wait for me to clean that bowl. So like I said, it's gonna take a few rinses to get all that red out. So again, I said 8 ounces of cream cheese, 1 stick of butter. We're going to double it because we're making 4 layers. If you just do 2 layers, you can do one measurement, but I'm going to at least double it. We'll see how that looks when I'm beating it, if it looks like it's going to be enough. if I just double the recipe. If not, I'll add another one. But it's 8 ounces of cream cheese, 1 box of powdered sugar, which is a pound, which is really hard to find the boxes now. So it's a pound. That's what the box means. Okay, so 2 8 ounces. Sorry, y'all. Sorry. Okay. So we need 2 sticks of butter, 2 blocks of cream cheese. And this is already softened. This is softened butter. This is softened cream cheese. If you're going to be doing this, you want to make sure you take this out in advance, because there's no way you're going to beat cold butter or cream cheese. So 8 ounces cream cheese, 1 stick of butter, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and a pound of sugar. And then double, triple, quadruple per how you want. And then you use either crushed pecans or walnuts, or shoot, use almonds if you want to. Don't use any nuts if you don't like them. Up to you. I have seen a lot of red velvet cakes that just have white frosting with no nuts on it at all. Cream my butter and cheese together. Yeah, you can actually. You can. If you have extra, you can keep it in the refrigerator. It's got to be in the refrigerator. This whole cake has to be in the refrigerator. If you put this frosting on it, this whole cake has to be in the refrigerator. This is cream cheese. So I didn't bring my scraper back. heard red velvet. We're making frosting now. Look at that. Trying to decide if I need to make a quadruple. I think I do. Because this is really a tall cake. This frosting recipe isn't necessarily for red velvet. It's just a cream cheese frosting recipe. Red velvet is a tall cake. I'm gonna go ahead and add more to this. I'm gonna add more cream cheese because this is like barely the bottom of this bowl. This is barely the bottom of this bowl right now. So I'm gonna add another thing of cream cheese and another stick of butter. I gotta get me another fly swatter thing. I gave one to Papa, and the one that I have stopped working. What Karen say? Oh, somebody gave me money. Thank you. Who was that? Who gave me that? Lala? Thank you, Lala. Happy holidays to you. Possibly, Karen. There's no sugar in it yet, Karen. You just be getting butter and cheese. I haven't added any sugar yet. Possibly, because they decided today, apparently, while I was at work, that they were going to do this vegetable one tonight. And shoot, and then I'm sitting there trying to get ready to make this cake. And Careful Keith is the one who sent me a message, and he's like, Cece want to know if you'll do the live because she don't want to do it. And I'm like, huh? So I had to pause in doing the cake to do the live. And I'm like, what y'all eating? I don't even know what you eating. All I got sitting in front of me is red velvet cake stuff. And he was like, vegetables. So I was like, okay, I still got greens in the refrigerator. So that's how I ended up doing the greens, and the cake just got put on pause. Because Cece was in her car, and she didn't feel like getting out the car. She was just like, I just want to sit here. And like I said, the Streamlabs isn't letting you start from your phone anymore. You got to be on your computer to start a Streamlabs. So she couldn't have done it from the car. All right, yeah. Now we look like we got enough. You can add anything you want to it. I wouldn't do that for a red velvet cake, though. Not on your red velvet. Don't do that to your red velvet. But any other kind of cake, if you want to make a spice cake or hummingbird cake, spice cake, sweet potato cake, what else would be good with cinnamon? Carrot cake, zucchini cake, any of those, you can put you some cinnamon in the frosting. Alright, so here's my pecan. I got them fresh from Winco. Yeah, they taste like chocolate. They taste like chocolate, Dorian. They don't taste like red velvet. Not real red velvet. They taste like what people call red velvet, and it's not. They're Devil's Food Cake Oreos. That's what they are. And they're red. All right. I'm trying to move the sugar down so I don't make a big old mess trying to open this. This bag is 2 pounds of sugar. So we're just gonna add a little. Yep, zucchini cake. You do it the same as you do the bread. You just lighten it up, make it more airy and fluffy for cake instead of bread. Oh, that's gonna hurt when it finally come off. Hey, Clem, how you doing? Clem, is your name Clementine? Every time I see that, I think Clementine. Clement? Okay. I have a great aunt whose name was Clement. I think it was like one of my papa's grandmother's sisters. Isn't that pretty and fluffy, y'all? Somehow we got some red dye on here. We don't want that to get in the frosting. Hold on. We have not put any vanilla in here. I wish I had some clear vanilla, but I don't. I usually try to use clear vanilla when I'm making a white frosting. All right, let's see. We need a little more sugar. Still need more sugar. But again, we did use three things of butter, 3 things of cream cheese. Go ahead and add the rest. Hey, Nikki. Got powder wine everywhere. Let me go check my cakes, y'all. I can smell them. Almost ready. The center is still jiggly, but but they're almost ready. And with your red velvet cake, where I was telling you with the reason why you use the parchment, you're also going to cut the very top layer off of your layers too, for the same reason, get rid of that little brown. When you get cakes from bakeries, they cut them all up. They cut all the edges off. They cut the top, they cut the bottom, they cut the sides, just to make sure it's pretty. Look at that fluffiness. Look at that, y'all. All right, I'm gonna wash my hands. I'm gonna add my nuts. I bought them fresh, so they're not crushed or anything. I gotta break them. Now, if you wanted to kick this up a notch, before you break these up and put them in your frosting, put them in a pan with a little bit of butter and toast them. I make a butter pecan cake. That's Vance's favorite. And I actually butter the pecans. I put butter and pecans in a pan, and I let them brown in there. It brings the oils out from the pecans, and it brings that flavor up even more. Oh yeah. Hey family team. It's cream cheese frosting. Cream cheese frosting. Let's fold these in here and see what we're looking like. And like I said, you can use as many or as little as you want. however nutty you want your frosting. If you don't want any, don't use any. If you want a lot, use a lot. Sometimes I'll take them and I'll put them in the food processor so they're, you know, really finely chopped. Thank you. I'm doing more of a rough break here, so it'll be more easily recognized what kind of nut it is. Because when you put it in the food processor, you don't know what nut it is until you take a bite, because it's just minced. But if you do it like this, you can still see the difference between a pecan and a walnut or almond, whatever you choose to use. But like I said, if you want to kick it up, put these pecans in a skillet with a little bit of butter. Salted or unsalted, up to you, doesn't really matter. If you use salted butter in your frosting, I love to cook. If you use salted butter in your frosting, don't use salted butter in your pecans, and vice versa. So if you use unsalted butter in your frosting, go ahead and use a little salted butter in the pecans. It'll just enhance the flavor a little bit. But if you do that, you have to let those pecans completely cool before you put them in here. Don't put them in your frosting hot out of the skillet, because it's gonna melt it and you're just gonna have like a glaze that you could pour over some cinnamon rolls, which you can do that too. If y'all make cinnamon rolls, homemade cinnamon rolls, you can use some of this leftover frosting during. Butter you some pecans in the skillet, mix this into it. It'll melt down into a good frosting, a good icing for your cinnamon rolls. Sure does. You can see this, it's nutty, but it's not extremely nutty. It's just got a little bit in here. I'll probably add a little bit more. I'm gonna check my cake again. They are done. Actually, the second layer isn't quite done. I'll let that one sit for another minute or two. That one's still a little bit jiggly. But yeah, I love to cook. Cooking is my gift. I can cook in my sleep. I've been cooking since I was 2 years old with supervision. And without supervision, since I was about 8. Hey, A&M friends. When I was about 8 or 9, me and my granny were living in East Texas, and she actually had a heart attack. Yeah, I'm up late. I was supposed to do this earlier, but I ended up doing a different live for a friend. You made banana pudding today? I made one of those a month or 2 ago. I did another live for a friend, so that delayed this one. But my granny had a heart attack when I was 8 or 9 years old, and when she did, you know, she was down for a while, and I had to do all the cooking and cleaning and stuff. So that was pretty much the point at which I started doing everything unsupervised. Because up until then, you know, she'd stand in the kitchen with me and make sure I was doing stuff right. I was still cooking, but, you know, just with someone watching. But when she had that heart attack, she was in her room. She didn't come out of that room for probably a good month. I just brought everything to her room. But I remember when the day she was being released from the hospital. Hey, Mark. The day she was being released from the hospital, the doctor was in there, and it was just me, her, and the doctor in the room. And he was, you know, telling her the kind of stuff she was going to have to start eating, how she needed to cook her food, and stuff like that. And she said, well, that's who's going to be cooking for me. Turn around and tell her. Because that's who's going to be doing the cooking. Tell her what she needs to do to my food. And he turned around, and all he saw was a little girl sitting there. Hey, Chastity. And he was like, huh? She can cook? And my grandma said, yeah. Yeah, he saw a baby. He like, huh? And she's like, yeah, she can cook. And she's like, yeah, she can cook. So he turned around and he started telling her, well, you need to broil her food. You know what that means? You got to put it in the oven. I said, yes, sir. And he's like, well, you do this and this, and don't put no salt in it, and don't put this in it, and don't put that. And I was like, okay. But he was real confused when he turned around. He like, huh? All right, I think I'm good. I think that's all I want in there for this time. Can y'all see? It's got a good amount, but not way too many. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get my saran wrap, and we're gonna wrap this up and put it in the fridge so it can firm back up a bit. Because it's butter and cream cheese, y'all. It will firm back up. Your 13-year-old loves to cook and she's good. Yeah. When you have the gift, you just have the gift. I'm sure she has it. If you can do it, you can just do it. Age doesn't matter. If you have the patience to listen and learn and you enjoy it, that's why there's kids that, you know, can play Bach and Beethoven at 8 and 9 years old. People just assume, oh no, they're too young. No. You figure out what your child is interested in. I bet you they will fool you. Rayon is an artist. Rayon has been drawing since she was very little. She was 7 years old and she drew a picture of Michael Jackson. And you looked at that picture and you knew it was Michael Jackson. She drew the picture of him in the beaded red suit with the zippers and stuff all over it. You knew who exactly that was in that picture when you looked at 7 years old. At 8 years old at school, in one of her classrooms, the teacher showed them a picture of a skeleton. Like she put a slide up or whatever and just showed them a picture of a skeleton. And then she took it back down. She took the slide down. She showed it to them. She took the slide down. And then she said, and they didn't know what she was getting ready to do. She just told them, look at the picture. She took the slide down and she said, I want you to draw what I showed you. Now the other kids, you know, they drew stick figures and, you know, kind of, you know, a little circle, da-da-da-da. Rayon drew a whole skeleton. And I mean, she drew a skeleton. She drew clavicle bones. She drew all the ribs. She drew the pelvis and the triangles. She drew a whole skeleton. And the teacher was like, at 8 years old, you don't doubt your kids. If they tell you can do something, go ahead, do it. Let me see. I bet they shock you. Oh, let me check the other one. Second layer done, y'all. So these have to cool. And after they cool, like I said, I'm going to use my layer splitter. This thing right here to split my layer into 2 layers. And it moves up or down, so you decide how thick you want it to be. You can raise it and you just, whatever layer you sit at, you put your cake flat on a flat surface, and then you sit this down. Like this along it, and then you slide across it. And it'll cut it into 2 even layers for you. So we're gonna have 4 layers. Sometimes I do cook for my job. I work in marketing. So I work for different company every day. Today I was working for Pepsi. So I had sodas. So there's no cooking involved with sodas. But sometimes, especially around the holidays, I might cook a ham. I might cook a turkey and cut it up. I have made scratch gingerbread cookies. I have done scratch cookies. Basically, like if you ever go to Sam's, I don't work in Sam's though, but if you go to Sam's, you know how they have little sample people in Sam's at those little metal carts? That's what I do. I have one of those metal carts, and I do whatever I'm going to do standing at that cart, or sitting at that cart in my case, because I have medical condition, which I have to sit. I kind of alternate between sitting and standing. But standing at that little cart, I have made scratch gingerbread cookies standing in the middle of a store, in the middle of Walmart. I have made chocolate covered strawberries. I make little Oreo Christmas trees and Santa hats, and I built a gingerbread house. Made sub sandwiches. I made paninis. I've made little crescent. You know how you see those different recipes that they have on the back of the crescent roll things? I've made those standing in the middle of the store. Just lots of different random stuff. Fruit punches and Coke spritzers and all kinds of stuff. The stuff that you see that they advertise, you know, like what companies advertise on the back of their thing. Like this company here has fudge cocoa brownies and Dutch hot cocoa. So if they wanted me to sell this cocoa in the store, I'd be standing there making brownies and cocoa at my cart and giving people homemade brownies and cocoa to try, and then telling them, go buy this cocoa and go buy the other ingredients and go home and make it. That's what I do. If I was doing this Ghirardelli, they've got fudge cake or brownies, fudge cake or cupcakes, and then chocolate cream frosting. So I'd be standing at my cart making that and then telling people the ingredients and go buy it and go make it at home. That's what I do. I fix stuff for people and get them to buy. I convince people to shop. No, I don't do sales. I do marketing. Because I don't have anything to do with anybody's money. I take this, and it tells you can make some brownies. I'll stand in the middle of the store and I'll make these brownies and let you taste them and smell them, because you're walking around the store trying to shop and now you're smelling hot, fresh brownies. I'm going to get you to walk over to me and come and eat some of these hot, fresh brownies that I just stood there and cooked in the middle of the store. And then tell you, go buy all these ingredients and go home and make you some. That's what I do. I stand right there and they say, where do I buy this from? I say, you make it. I just made it. You make it. Go make it. You need this, 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 and this. Go buy that and you can make it just like I just did. If I can stand here in this store and make this on this little 3-foot by 2-foot metal counter, you can go home and make it in your whole kitchen. I guarantee. That's what I do for it. That's what I do. I do marketing. I tempt people with the smell of whatever I'm making, and then they taste it, and then they want it, so they go straight to the shelf and they buy it. And then, yeah, the store gets sales. Whatever vendor that I'm doing for that day, they get sales. And I get to go home when I run out of samples. When I've cooked it all and given it all away, I get to go home. I'm done. Just give you the address. It depends on the day. I do different stores. I've made pizza at Target before. Yeah, I made homemade pizzas in Target because Target's was selling, they have their own pizza crust now. They have their own everything, that Target pantry. I made pizzas using all Target pantry stuff. I can't remember what else I did. I did Target like 3 times. I can't remember what else I did. I can't remember what else I did at Target. I know I did the pizza. Oh, I did pie. Some kind of pie. Pizza pie. I don't remember. I mainly do Walmart though. All right, so I think I'm gonna end this, y'all, because these are gonna take a while to cool. And when they cool, I'm just going to slice them like I said. I will come back tomorrow and do another stream and let y'all see me actually put it together, frost them and put it together and all that, because they're gonna take a while to cool. I gotta flip them out of these pans, and like my frosting still has to densen back up like I said. Good night, Mark. So yeah, I'm gonna end this, and then tomorrow after I take these kids to school, I will come back and frost the cake and everything so y'all can see how I put it all together. And there is a surprise that's going in this cake also. So there's an extra thing that we're gonna be doing to this cake tomorrow. But it's gotta be cool. It's gotta be cool first. So yeah. I thank y'all for watching. Thumbs up, subscribing, and sharing. And if y'all want to see the final results of this cake, I'll show you again how pretty and red it is right now. It's pretty and red, y'all. Come back tomorrow. Probably between 12 and 1. I'll be back. Hey, Sid. Between 12 and 1 tomorrow, Central Time, I'll do the cake, the putting together, and then prettifying and all that. All right. So y'all have a good night, and I will see y'all tomorrow for the finished product. So y'all come back now, you hear?